Hello, hello, and welcome back to episode 16 of Sudoku with Tsvetii. We are able to drive, and we will be driving into a medium puzzle. Anyways, we'll be starting off with our ones today. We're going to mix it up. Throw you a curveball. We're going to start with the nines. It's real funny because we don't really have any other information to start with the nines, so that is pretty funny. Not funny, very frightening and unprofessional. But we do know that 8 has to be up here, which means that 8 is down here on this side. Anything else? We know 8 has to be in the corners of this section. We know 8 has to be up here and up here. Not much else we can do. And I guess that's going into the lesson I want to say today. And sometimes you just got to break yourself out of a rut and try something new. Like today, we are going to learn if doing the puzzle backwards, not really backwards, just in inverse numerical order, leads to any different interesting results, and we can make a note of it, and then we can take that information and take it to the bank. I immediately went to 8 instead of 6 because I am conditioned to put numbers in numerical order. We do know that these will be our last two 6s, so we can move on to our 5s. I hate you, 5. We do know 5 has to be over here, which means 5 is... I'm putting 6s everywhere. I apologize for that. But we know that 5s have to be over here and over here. We know 5 has to be over there, and then 5 is either one of those. Nothing else we can really point our finger at and yell. That's a fun turn of phrase. But anyways, we are still looking okay. Agatha has been doing well. She is politely yelling over there. She is currently wrapping herself up in a bag. Do you need to talk? Are you okay? Do you want to talk? Anyways, onto our 3s. We do know that 3 has to be here, which means 3 is over there. That's going to be our 7. Any other things we can solve immediately? We do know that that has to be here. Anyways, what's the other number we're missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that'll be a 5 or a 9 right there, so we'll just put that right there for now. Anyways, down to our 2s. Let's see. We know 2 has to be over here on the left. We also know that 2 is right here on there, which means that 2 has to be there, which is nice. Then we get down to our 1s, which we know 1 has to be there or there. And then 1 has to be there or there. And then 1 actually has to be over here, which means our 1 will be over there. And we know, oops. We know 1 has to be over there. Anything else? Anything else? No, not particularly. Well, we can start looking at these. Like, we know this has to be we're missing a 4. And since there's a 4 already there, that's a quick little solve. 6, 7, then it'll be an 8. Which means this will be a 7. Which, 2, 3, 4, hey, that's going to conveniently be a 7 as well, which we can fill in the blank over there. We are missing 5 and 9. Right, yeah, 5 and 9 again. Let's see. Anyways, I don't really feel like we've made that much progress in that little scheme. We do know that'll be a 4 or 7. We know 4 has to be down here. What are we missing? 5, 6, 7, 8. Conveniently an 8 and 9. A lot of missing 9s today. Ironically, the number we started with, we are missing the most of. But anyways, we are Going to add our 1s in here. Missing a 4 as well. But we know that 4 can be here or here. So we're kind of at a gridlock right there. What we're missing 5 and 9 as well, so this will be just 1 9, this will be 1 5. So let's just go through our numbers again real quick just to verify. Like we know 1 has to be here or here, 1 has to be here or here. So we actually know that 1 has to be right here, which means that 4 is there and 8 is there. Alrighty. What else do we got? We know 1 has to be there potentially. Well, we know we're missing 9s here, so we'll put 9s right there. What else are we missing? The number 4? Yes. Yeah, we can tell that. But yeah, go back to our 1s. Anything else? No. 2s? No. We just know that they're over here. We can just fill in this other one. 3. It's a 4. It's a 4. And then we can move on to our 5s. Well, we know they're right there, potentially. We know they're right here. We know they have to be right here. Unfortunately, not much we can do. We have all of our 6s already. How about 7s? Not too much information on the 7s, actually, but we know the 7 has to be right here. One of these two. Since everything else is blocked off. What about an 8? What about an 8? No dice. No dice. Anything on our 9s? No. What are we missing here? Oh, meant to do a 9 there. Missing a 9 and 4 and 5 technically. The only thing we can prove is that 1 is up there. We can't really prove that. We can't really prove it one way or another. We can actually prove that this is a 3 since 8 is right here, literally. So we do know that 8 is over there now. We know 2 and 4 are over here. What are our last 3? We're missing 3, 7, and 4 up here. Naturally, since 4s are both on over here. And then we're also missing 3, right? Yes, so this has to be our 3. Yeah, so that was our final 3 right there. Anything else that we can just check as we're skimming around and through the entire area? Let's see. Technically, that could be a 5 or a 9, because we don't really have any other information to put there. Technically. Anything with our 2s? Anything going on with the 2s? What about our 3s? Anything going on with our 3s? Nothing with the 4s at this moment. We just know 4 has to be there or there. Already looked at 5s. Let's look at our 7s. I mean, 7 has to be here or there in this column. 8s, anything for 8s? Any new updates or insights? No. We just know 8 could be here, could be all the way over here, and then could be right there. We know that that can't be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be a 2 or a 9 in that square. And that's all it can be. This one, unfortunately, can be a lot more. Because this one can actually be, 2, 3, 4s are up here. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So that leads to me believe that 9 could be down here. What are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Be 5 or a 9. Same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these two is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Never mind. We just know that there's a 9 over here. Alrighty. Let's see. We're seeing the rows. We know that this row has to be right here. And over here it has to be there. One same way. Let's go to 2s. Okay. Let's just think here for a second. If 5 is here, that has to be 9, which means that is 4. Which means that is 2, and that would be 9. No, it cannot be that. Because that would be, that's a 9 and that's a 9. So this has to be our 5, since it's the only other option in this this database. So we did solve something. It just took a little thought and following a plan that we had for ourselves. Let's see. Missing 4, 7, 8, 9 over here. If this were 4, that would have to be 7, that would have to be 8, that would have to be 9. I'm just trying to see if what wouldn't make sense. If that makes any sense. Haha. If that's a 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 4. Yeah, that still works out, unfortunately. Wait. If this is 4, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9. If this is 8, that has to be 5. And that can't be it, because that's a 4. Because that would have to be 4 if this is a 5. Right, we're mathing that out, right? So if this is 4, that's a 7, that's an 8. Yeah. Oh, this could be 9 too. Oops. Oopsie daisy. That could technically be a 9 too. Correct? Yeah. So technically that could be a 9. I mean, that'll be a 7. That would be a 1. Never mind, that could work out. Haha, just kidding. If this were a 4, that would have to be the 7. Nah, nothing for that. If this were a 9, that would have to be a 1. which means that's a 5, which would leave me with 4 and 9 over here, which means this would be a 5. What? Wait. Bring that back. If this was a 5, if this were 5, that would leave 4 and 9 over there. This would be 1, so 1 would be right here, which means that could be a 9. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. Let's see if we can go through our numbers again, because this is able to solve that 5, but it was just more of an odd man out and just a good guess on an outlier than rather just like relying on data. So let's see. Nothing new developing with the 2s. Of course, I haven't marked anything down. This is the part where we just hit check. Oh, I was wrong. Well, that's funny. I did that whole thing. So what else was this? Could have this been? So it's not a 5. So it can't be a 1. Can't be a 2. Can't be a 3. Can it be a 4? It can be a 4. Can't be a 5, of course. 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 4 and 9, which means this is 4 and 9, which means this has to be a 2. That's a 9. Which now opens this up. What are we missing here? 5? Yeah, so that's 4 and 5. Which means that's just a 4. Which means this will be a 4. That's a 5. 8, 2. Turns out when you just get given the answer to the puzzle, you're able to solve it very fast. Unfortunately. Well, I had something wrong. So it ain't too bad. We did end up solving it very quickly as soon as we figured out that we were wrong. Oh, I messed up. What did I mess up again? Oh, this was just 8 and 9. 8, 9. Which has a 4, so that's 7. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? No, it's not 5. So this has to be 4. What the fuck is going on? 2 and 9 are messed up. I was wrong again. What are we missing? 2 and 4. Right. So that can't be a 2. That is a 2. So now we're missing 5 and 9. Golly. I'm falling apart. But this isn't 5. And if this isn't 5, this has to be 5. Which means that would be 9. All right, are we happy now? Are we good? Sudoku, are we good? Sudoku, I feel like I've been doing a lot of crying. Am I still good? Man, the Sudoku lords, they giveth and they taketh away, huh? Well, we know that these both are there, so we know that this has to be our 4, which means that's our 7. That's an 8, 4, 7, 4, 5. That'd be a 9, 7. Goodness gracious, that was a cluster truck. Anyways, if you enjoyed that hodgepodge of misery, I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you will take care. Goodbye.